didn't want to be here forever if they weren't teeing off. But this is what we chose. Oh, geez, what is that? It's not even a bass. It's a pickerel. I didn't see them catch any. I didn't see one bass get caught in there.
I caught one on the second cast, and then I caught one on the third cast, and it was nonstop. Literally 25 casts in a row.
How about that call right there?
Every dang cast. I don't think I've ever caught as many fish in my career on a deep diving crankbait as I did in that one moment.
When I came out of the pond and started fishing some brush piles and they didn't work, I started to lose a lot of confidence. I said, you know, we just need to go shallow. Fish outside of a spawning pocket, fish, you know, grass, anything that came to me, and fish all the way in, fish the grass, fish lay down trees, fish docks, and fish all the way to the back and fish all the way out. That's how I fish shallow a lot, especially in the spring, to get clues. I'm gonna swim a jig, I'm gonna flip a jig, I'm gonna try to make them bite my jigs. Where's your mama? And it was like everything else that morning. Not a single clue. Except that the fish weren't on the bank.
Spotted bass, found it on top of the head. I decided I was going to burn that spot to the ground where I caught him, where that school had moved in on. And as I'm burning it to the ground, fish kept showing up. I was just so shocked because I'd catch them, and then finally it's like they'd be caught and leave, and you wouldn't see any more. And then, you know, you sit down or you get off the spot and you come back, and then there's 20 more sitting there. Anytime you try to burn something to the ground, like usually these fish, you burn them up and they're gone. And heck, you can shake fish off in practice and it seems like they never fire again. You know, to see more fish coming is like, I really didn't know what to do. Like I wanted to leave, but when you're still catching them, you can't leave fish that are biting. And I had locals that were sitting over to the side in their boats watching me, and they watched me catch almost every fish that I caught on that spot. And I knew that there was a chance that I would never get back on that spot, whether it be day 2 or day 3. I knew that more than likely somebody would be sitting on that spot, you know, when I try to come back. So, you know, there's no reason in trying to leave anything for them, and they just kept coming. They just kept biting. I lost track of how many fish I caught. It was happening so fast. I'd say I probably caught somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 fish on day 1. That ain't gonna help.
You know, I made the decision to, before I run back up, to just go where I at least saw one. So I did have quite a few fish marked on bed. Most of them were further south, and I wasn't really planning to go do that because I felt like those fish would get plucked. But I ran to the closest one that I knew was bedding. That fish wasn't there, but another fish had pulled up on the bed, caught it, and it wasn't that big. It wasn't something to make me think, okay, let's go keep running this deal. I still felt like my best shot was the hard spots.
I feel like I worked so freaking hard for a freaking fish.
The biggest decision of my day happened to be the worst one. I was saving time the end of the day to run the program. The hard spots that I had found that had groups of fish on them. I left myself enough time, or so I thought. I ran all the way back up, committed. You're running 30, 40 minutes all the way back up the lake. And, by the time I stopped on the first spot I wanted to hit, the first cast or two was manageable. There was a little breeze. And by the time I made my second or third cast, I was casting straight into 35 mile per hour sustained winds that blew me off the main lake.
I just ran up to this area. I was saving this for my afternoon because I felt like I could bail myself out up here, and I just ran all the way back up here into a front. And I don't know, I looked at the radar. I know we're below the actual storm, but man, I don't know if I just ran all the way back into something I should have never run into. Yeah, we got to try to get into some more fishable conditions.
I had to duck into Kowicki Creek, which I had zero practice, and just try to make something out of nothing. That was a bad decision. And it's one of those that blindside you too. And I had to go fish an area outside the wind that I really, in my mind, wasn't even thinking about fishing that day.
So much for getting out of the wind. Dude, look at that bird up there, just flying, going nowhere. Call him Justin.
That feels like a big one. Stay down. Barely hooked. Barely hooked. There were other people up on the bank. There was a little bench and a picnic table up there. There were people sitting on the big picnic table, and they were cheering me on over there from near the boat ramp. And it was funny because there was a lot of people driving across the bridge that was right there, and they'd see me hook up and a fish jump, and they'd start blowing their horn or hollering out the window, yelling at me. So it was really cool, kind of having a little cheering section over there. It kind of kept me amped up and kept me excited. Just called this little spotted dog out right here. Fat gut.
I'm here in the back of this creek trying to figure out what these fish are doing. I'm sure there's fish around, but I've got no clue. I've got no prior clue from practice, and I can't get one to bite.
Not seeing much of anything right here. I got my timing off on running back up and trying to hit those hard spots. And it hurts my feelings a little bit, I'm gonna have nothing but regret for not starting on that stuff. I should have started right there I know they were gonna bite in the morning because they were pulling current. And I got cute. Tried to go to that backwater pond where all them fish were. Oh, and trust me, now I got it out of my system now.
You know, when it's raining on you like that, it's just, on a day like that, it's rubbing salt into the wound. It sucks right now. You know, it's gotta put your rain gear on and just whatever. But if I had a bag, there's like Shawshank Redemption. Like, you're not worried, you're not pulling your jacket out, you're getting soaking wet and just enjoying it.
Yes.
How about that one at the last minute?
You know, it's humbling to come in on your worst days, go up, especially being in the last flight. I think I was the last guy to weigh in, you know. The guys are snapping at you to pick up the pace because they're all ready to go home or whatever. And you're getting the last bag and rushing to put your one fish in the bag. And
Saturday will be different.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
so I felt like I let a lot of people down. But if you build a solid foundation with those relationships, then you know the truth. You know, they're still behind me.
I was only weighing fish when I threw them back. So after I culled one, I would weigh it just to see how big it was before I threw it back, but I didn't know what the rest of my fish weighed. And I was thinking I had 17.5 pounds. I ended up weighing in 21.8.
I think we're down to our final angler, Justin Kimmel. Come on up, motor side out of Athens, Georgia. Bring him up. One fish in the bag. A good one. 3 pounds even, 3 pounds even for you. And you can hopefully build off of that.
I can remember on how to deal with bad days or even bad years. A story that Mark Zona told me about Kevin Van Dam, it was the 1 year in his career that he didn't qualify for the Bassmaster Classic, so everybody said that he was slumping or whatever. And so somebody was bold enough to ask him, Kevin, what do you do when you're in a slump like this? How do you deal with, how do you deal with that? And he turned and looked at the guy and said, just keep casting. Instead of up in 6, they were off on an edge. It dropped from like 8 to 10, and they were sitting right there. And I threw that jig up there, swing and a miss.
That's what they did all morning.
So you're telling me I could have caught them on a crankbait?
It was almost automatic with a crankbait.
I want to puke right now.
You can lead a blind man to a wall.